Good morning, Galaxy Stock Market members. Today is October 18th, 2025, about 8:42 a.m. as I make this video. And for those of you on the X.com and YouTube spheres, this will be coming out in 24 hours post. Members, this is the membership benefits belonging into our Essentials group or higher groups. Regardless, the title is Thanks for the Fuel, Silver Slam Crew, and we have a picture of a rocket ship taking off, spewing silver. And this is exactly what's going to happen. Every slam is going to be used as fuel for the next leg higher, and that slam effect is shorter and shorter. And of course, you can't blame them for trying. And although I don't believe it's the same type of cast of characters belonging into the Silver Slam crew, I believe some of the slam action came from BIS and IMF. I don't have concrete proof, but there is a speculation that is going on that's rampant, and the level of the slam that came on Friday, it's nothing surprising. They could not have silver go to 53 and stay above and close the week on 53. They also could not slam silver below the $50 breakout level. And so they're caught in a dilemma, and I'm about to tell you about what we think is going to happen in the coming weeks. Okay, so let's get moving, and I'm glad you guys are all here. Let's get this show on the road. Okay. First of all, thank you for following us. Check us out. We have great content on X.com and also on the YouTube channel. Like us, subscribe, and comment there. Whether you agree with me or not, we are dealing with a lot of controversial topic, and so here we go. All right, first and foremost, okay, bank failures are coming, and associated contagion from Tricolor and First Brands, and now Jeffries are involved in, a lot of price rigging. Oh my gosh, the cockroaches, as Jamie Dimon says, is coming out, and there is cockroaches. There are cockroaches even in JP Morgan Chase. Okay, so people in glass houses should not be casting stones. But the most important thing is this proposal by FDIC. Not even a proposal. It's going to allow private equity to bid for failed banks. Why would that be? If you read below this, and everybody thinks this is such a great idea, but if you really look at it, FDIC, without mentioning it, it's saying we're undercapitalized. For every $100 of claims that come in, we could only pay $1.50. Think about that, folks. $250,000, $150,000 of guarantee in your bank is BS. FDIC is functionally insolvent. And so they're now going to allow private equity, private money to come in and bid for failed banks to bail out those deposit holders in exchange for private equity to have a backdoor way of getting banking licenses. This is dangerous, and it's reckless. It's almost as dangerous as repealing the Glass-Steagall Act. Basically, after the 1929 stock market crash, Congress enacted a law that basically said investment and commercial banks cannot be the same. And of course, Bill Clinton came in and repealed that during his presidency. And that is the sole purpose for all of the shenanigans, including the financial crisis that came about. All right, so this is not a good thing. This is basically FDIC admitting that they don't have the funds to make you whole should, let's say, Bank of America or Wells Fargo or JP Morgan Chase fails. All right, so a lot of you are, freaking out, and it's just, we got to stop thinking with our primitive brain and start thinking with our evolved brain, okay? Trading and investing is a very emotional process, and you have to be able to think at a higher level. If you react to every stimulus, fight or flight, sympathetic nervous system, you are going to lose every single time. And this is a great chart posted about the gold futures, and of course the parabolic force becomes higher and higher. Here's the first parabolic rise during the 2024. It went higher, and then we had a little wick candle, and it moved sideways for a few weeks and forming a base, and then it moved higher. These are not parabolic moves, folks, but it does clearly illustrate at the top and that these slam moves will come, and then it breaks out into these consolidation phases. This is a parabolic move. This is what I would call like a phase 3, the way I count waves. Move, and there is a fourth phase that is coming. If you notice the wick and the silver slam crew that happened, these wicks are going to be commonplace as it goes up due to profit taking by the speculators, but also because silver slam crew, gold slam crew, whatever you want to call it, is going to continue to try to manipulate these prices. This is a weekly chart, folks. Okay, if you take it into this perspective, okay, the world is not ending. The gold has not topped. Gold is an essential, becomes more and more essential asset in creating credibility to the money system right now, because so much money has been printed and now so much fraud and things are being uncovered. And you're going to realize that these banks that are supposed to be all up, great and, morally upright are not. They have been committing fraud, and those frauds are coming out, and they're going to continue to come out every week, and those shocks are going to add up to a point where we get our second leg down. What happened on October 10th on Friday was the first appetizer that came along that said, hey, the uptrend is over. We're going to be starting a corrective phase, but it's not going to go down in a straight line, and you're going to have these rips, like I told you, up and down. Same thing is true for gold. Do I think, I've been saying that gold is going to hit 4,300, and we did. And we pulled back. Guys, we pulled back to 4,235, merely like a 60 points from all-time highs. Are we going to hit this 4,500? Yes, I do. I think we're probably going to hit 5,000 by the end of the year, okay? And for those of you that are saying, oh, it's overbought and all this other stuff, you know what? Stock market does not go up or down in a straight line, folks. Okay? It's a give and take. There's a lot of variables of people with opinions. The only thing that matters is your research and your opinions. Okay? So stop freaking out about that little pullback. It was overdue. Silver Slam crew is not going to go away. They're not going to go quietly into the night and just give it to you. Okay? Now, this is by Eric Young. Follow his channel. I really like his data, and his insights are very, very good. He posted this. It's in a nutshell, and you can go back and find this post and look at this chart. But basically what it's saying is that Robert Gottlieb, okay, ex-Silver Slam crew, JP Morgan Bullion Bank executive, said that in order for the LBMA to have any sort of normality, okay, bringing things back to normal, out of backwardation and supply shock, it needs to import 150 million troy ounces of physical silver. Think about that, folks. All right. So not a lot of airplane flying it back and forth. And when backwardation happened this week, this is why things got worse, is that the spread between COMEX and LBMA basically became nil. So that flying silver from COMEX to pretend that LBMA has silver for delivery became not profitable. They would be doing that at a loss. So that's basically 88% of the entire COMEX registered vault silver. So they're saying that LBMA needs to import 88% of COMEX registered vault. Jamie Dimon, okay, JP Morgan Chase controls those vaults, okay, is not going to let that happen, okay. And so that's what the battle is. And he's absolutely correct in trying to cap prices below 60. And I posted something on X.com about 60s coming. It is coming, folks. Friday's slam is probably going to be completely erased at the very least by Wednesday. Probably Monday when you wake up, it'll be pretty close. About 70% of that will have been retraced. And that's the mechanics of how it's going. Okay. In short, LBMA cannot meet demands. They don't have the gold and silver that is demanded, plain and simple, right? Now that they did a grand slam, we don't really have the data at this time on how much paper ounces were shorted in order to effect that quote-unquote scary drop, although most of it was kind of recovered, right? I mean, they slammed silver all the way down into the 49.50 level before settling above 50.65. The fact that they couldn't get silver below $50 in itself is an indictment on the fact that 50 is the floor. Okay, and demand is going to trump whatever paper that comes, and just like my title picture shows, okay, slam it all you want. It's just going to, the next day it's going to get higher and higher, and that's the fuel that's going to take it above to $68 to $82 by October 28th. Okay, there's just too many paper shorts and too much delivery demand. Okay, if you look at all the pictures of, in China, Australia, Japan, wherever it is, okay, it hasn't happened in the United States yet, but if you go to something like apmex.com and try to order gold and silver, they have a significant price premiums, and pretty much the silver and gold eagles are not available at reasonable prices. Pretty soon there's going to be lines at all your local coin shops, little mom and pop coin shops. Market. Okay, so from last week on 10/10, I said silver slam crude came out. Look, this is where we were, 47.82. Okay, I said the old playbook no longer works, but they're continuing to apply that. They did that this Friday. Suppress silver prices, right? Silver slam is fueling volatility and rate of recovery and parabolic rise. And so this is what I posted. Of course, we hit we hit 53, right? 53.50, whatever. And now we're back at 50. Okay, this is the slam, that previous slam. Okay, and everybody freaked out on this one. Stop thinking with your primitive brain. That's all I'm saying. Okay, look at what you're dealing with. Look at the conditions. Okay, I mean, on that pullback, people should have been, if you were trading, for me, okay, not financial advice if you're watching it on YouTube or X.com, but you should have been loading up. If you could get your hands on physicals, that's what I recommend. But if you don't, and if you're just a trader, you should have been loading up on gold and silver calls. Plain and simple, right? All right. We've been warning for weeks that market divergence and conditions was critical for the crash. So this was back last week, 10/10. And I said, hey, look, if you look at, ES and NQ, okay, that it dropped. This was the warning sign. But I also said, hey, look for these pops that you could short into. Don't blindly short the whole, okay? And so let's go over some of these charts right now. Okay, so let me bring those up. Give me a second. All right, so really quickly, I want to start with the gold and silver. These green thick dotted lines are basically a major support level. And this is the level that, here's the gold and here's the silver. Okay, these are futures, by the way. And these are at a 1 hour time frame that the silver slam crew is desperately trying on Friday to bring down, and they whipped through it a little bit, and that's where everybody freaked out and said, oh, I told you, blah blah blah, it's gonna go down. It's just like the 1980s and 2011. The conditions are completely different, folks. Okay, these solid lines are where the delivery demand is. Okay, and the more they print paper shorts, okay, they become fuel for the fire, and they've done it at these levels. We've hit these inflection points down here. Now these are levels that it would be a dream for the silver slam crew to bring down, okay, down into this red dotted line. We have a lot of these levels. Now we have a clearly defined overhead resistance. It is not a blue skies breakout, but obviously I expect that Monday or Tuesday we're going to go right back into this 52 level, and there will be a battle right here, and then we're going to break out, folks. All right, the demand is too great. There's too much money that's been printed. There's too much problems within the banking sectors, and that's what's going to be driving it. The contagion, systemic contagion and fraud that exists. And one last thing is that I don't know if you know, but these are all the failed slams that's been going on our way up. Okay, here's gold slam, here's the recent slams, and every time, I know these look smaller because this is on a log scale, But as the time goes on, here's one, here's one. I mean, it's like we've been through this before, folks. Okay, and the thing is that these type of pullbacks just basically takes the oversold, overbought conditions off the table. Okay. Now let's look at ES, because I've warned that on this pullback that it does not go down in a straight line, and that we need to be patient. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you look at. Okay, we broke down. This is the inflection point we broke down on the NQ. Here's the NQ. Here's the ES. Again, it's a 1 hour chart. Okay, we went up into this breakdown area. NQ has almost recovered here. We're going to chop around over here, and then we'll break down again. We will definitely break down ahead of the FOMC meeting. Okay, we'll talk about that. That's on October 28th and 29th. Isn't it funny how the FOMC meeting is now occurring at the end of the month instead of the middle of the month like it's always been? That's desperation, folks. Read through the tea leaves. Things are not as it seems, and I've always said America is preparing for bankruptcy at this point. And they're going to use cryptocurrencies and gold backed by gold and silver, okay, to reset their debt. All right. We're going to default on our 10-year yield. And I'll tell you why I think that. But regardless, all right, these are the levels at which above here is where you need to establish your short positions, or you need to have a longer time horizon to short this, okay? And at these levels is where you're going to be adding. Yes, does ES get up to even here, or is ES so weak because of the financials we just break down from here? But these are the levels that we would break down, okay? Now, Bitcoin, obviously, everybody was screaming and hollering about how Bitcoin is dead and stuff like that. Bitcoin is a asset. It is a safe haven asset, just like gold and silver is, and it will be used as such. Okay. Well, we're at 107,000. Everyone's talking about this nonsense about going to 26,000, 90,000. All right. If it goes to 90,000, great. Okay. Great. We'll just get our bags ready and start loading up. If it goes to 26,000, you should buy it there. Okay. I mean, you do what you want, but that's what I'm going to do. Right. So basically we have on the 1 hour chart. Okay. And so we had this decline, and we had a flash crash. And this is because they want to shake you out so that these cheaper Bitcoin could flow into central banks and into ETFs, okay? But I think we're basically done going down, per se. I think we're going to have a rip-your-face-off rally in all the commodities, safe haven assets. Look at all of them, okay? All right, so I want to talk a little bit about the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar, basically, this is the inflection point that it's trying to stay above. They desperately want to get above the 100, but you know what? Dollar's crap. Okay, it's fiat money system. It does not work, and it's no longer the U.S. Dollar is no longer the reserve currency. It just isn't. Okay, so we haven't changed much. Dollar's not getting stronger. It's an indictment on the fact that they are devaluing the U.S. dollar. Okay, currency devaluation is going on, and I always say it's a race to zero. Whoever gets to zero first wins, because it means they've accumulated the most amount of assets. Okay, here's the 10-year yield. And Powell said he promised more rate cuts. We dipped down, and then now we're moving higher. This is moving higher because the debt and money system is broken, and a new monetary regime is coming, backed by digital currency, backed by gold and silver. All right, and my favorite, obviously, XRP. Okay, let's talk about that in a second. All right, let me bring this bad boy over here. Okay, let's talk about XRP. Okay, I always say this, if it gets below 275 and below, you need to buy it. But XRP's bottom, folks. All right, and basically broke out of the first channel leg, second channel leg. We're up under the third channel. And if you really want, this is not updated, but if you really want to, this then becomes the fourth channel leg, and we need to just break out above there, right? And it will happen. I think we're going to have rip-your-face-off rally in the commodities and in these safe haven assets, okay, next week. Okay, so let's talk about really quick. on the KRX. The KRX is the regional banking index. I've been warning for months. I said these guys are toxic. Okay, and regions financials. The ones that are really toxic are Bank of Oklahoma and Comerica. They hold the most of a CMBS. That's not. That's commercial mortgage-backed securities. That's not performing. Okay, all right. Yet we basically came down right into here. I mean, yeah, we did a little recovery, but guys, if it goes up to here, we'd short the crap out of it. Okay, let's look at the 10-year yield. We talked about it. It's moving higher. The dollar is basically moving lower. Okay, and Trump wants lower interest rates. Well, it's not going to happen. Okay. This is the problem. The problem is too much money was printed and there's too much fraud in the debt market system. Okay. So that's it. So what's going on in terms of our McClellan Summation Index? All right, folks. We just bounced and we're coming down. We're moving lower. I mean, this stuff is now entering into this volatility box. We might chop around here next week a little bit. Once we enter into this volatility box, this is where sub 6,000 ES is going to come from. My target is sub 6,000 to about 55, 5,300. And you don't want to hear my levels if it goes down there. And it can. Okay, just so be very, very careful about what's coming. On the SPY, okay, let's talk about the SPY. This is our daily chart. Okay, where were we? Okay, we just had a little rescue above the green line, which is 80 MA. All right, we still have negative divergence on the RSI. Can we pop about to here and come back down? It can. I doubt that we get up to this uptrend line. Instead, we're basically somewhere next week, we're going to fail and test this 50-day moving average, probably bounce again and start moving down lower into November. I think the big crash, the impulsive looking at Satan's whites out of their eye crash is coming probably at the end of October, maybe first week of November. That's what I think. Okay? Do your own due diligence, right? Okay, so we warned about this, right? We now have people hedging into the puts, but we are nowhere near this level. So we'll probably come back down because everybody thinks that the bottom is in and we're going to pop right back up. Use these tools at your discretion or join my group. I mean, it's affordable. I mean, you don't have to do the fancy schmancy mentorships with me. Essentials only $49, folks. Here's our silver. All right, for those of you, we're at phase 3. I call this my phase 4 alpha for a reason. Okay, I mean, really, are we really going to say that this is a reversal candle? I would say that we've had those, have we not? We've had those kind of candles before, those scary candles along the way up, all the way up. We've had those. Okay, so the issue is that they could not take us below 50. Okay, this is not the futures. This is the spot pricing. Okay, so and you just saw the futures at 50.65. We're at 51.80. That's backwardation, folks. That's supply constraints. All right. Oh my gosh! But if you look at it, look at the RSI. So overbought. RSI is a momentum oscillator. It's not an overbought, oversold indicator, right? And what I always say, and I mentioned something about Newton's second law of motion. Things that stay in motion stays in motion. It's also translated. It says markets can remain irrational a lot longer than you can remain solvent. So small victory. Silver Slam Crew did this. We've been doing this sequentially on the way up. Like I said, all right. So that's what's going on right here. I mean, yeah, we had the commodity channel index pull back a little bit, but that's these are all things that happens. We had these little type of stochastic pullbacks, all of which were buying opportunities, continues to be so. It just took us off the oversold conditions. And of course, PPO ADX is as bullish as ever. We have these nice cupping patterns, right? We got those. We have those patterns, and I like it. All right, let's move on. Here's more silver, right? All right, this is the 45-year-old silver chart, and of course, we broke out of the handle, folks. You think we're going to break out of the handle and break right back down? Nonsense. 45 years of technical patterns that have been built in. It's not going to be fixed in the last 6 months of move. Okay, this is a long-term move, folks. Monthly move. Okay, by the end of this month, we will be at $68 to $82 or more. Okay, here's gold. Same thing. I mean, what is wrong? I mean, is there something wrong with this picture? You think that, I mean, come on, guys. Stop with the nonsense. We're going higher. Okay. SQQQ, folks. Okay. I continue to say nothing is, if you use leverage correctly, and not like these yahoos that are crying on the X.com, crying about how they lost everything and, it's their mommy's fault, Trump's fault, Biden's fault. Who cares? Okay, it's your fault. But if you want to use leverage, use it the correct way. This is a triple inverse SQQQ, and they have options on it. Use that kind of leverage and define your downside risk. Okay, no more crying. You made your bed, so eat it. Okay, here's BlackRock. Okay, BlackRock, I'm telling you, is basically now this is a bearish pattern. I believe BlackRock, and it has a lot of exposure to everything. In the coming weeks, we're going to see this break down. This is one of our number one short candidates, right? Maybe we have them. JP Morgan Chase had a great week shorting this. We shorted here. We got out here. Okay. Costco, still one of my favorite shorts. Okay. Hasn't broken down yet, but it will. Okay, just give it time. Wolf of Wall Street, right? Mr. Hanna, just give him time at the restaurant scene. Go watch that movie if you haven't. Okay, here's Meta. Okay, you don't think Meta is going to break down. I got news for you. Negative divergence. MACD is negative. It's hanging out for dear life off of this trend line where all the smaller time frame, including ADMA, moving averages are curled down. It's just a matter of time. Okay, folks. All right. I still stand behind my minimum move measurement. This is from the Hunt Brothers attempt, which got slammed down. We're just now into this range box, okay? It really gives you perspective, doesn't it? We just broke out. You just broke out above this just slightly. We peeked our head up. You think we're going to have this cup and a handle that's going to break down now? Nonsense, folks. Nonsense. You guys need to go back to TA school, okay? This is our minimum measure move. I stand by it. Boom. There it is, folks. Whoop. There it is. All right. All right. We already talked about this. This is, it said as of 10-3, breakout progressing. Well, we broke out, folks. We just had a little Slam Crew action. Thank you, Slam Crew, for the fuel. Okay. And XRP keeps giving investors chances to buy, but they won't because everybody keeps having fun about it going to 50 cents. Guys, those days are over. If it goes to $1.75 like that on that flash crash, load up the bank and go get it. Okay, 234. I keep sharing this number because that's exactly where they're going to be accumulating. If it goes to 234, there was nobody there. Everybody was selling, or they got liquidated because of their stupid leverage because they're going to be Warren Buffett overnight. Okay, but you guys will be lining up pretty soon when XRP's at 1,000. This is not pipe dreams. It's going to happen. This is the global reserve digital currency, not just cross-border payments. They'll probably take over SWIFT too. So did you buy when they engineered the sell-off, or did you use your primitive brain and coward and suck your thumb and then blamed it on Biden or Trump? All right, stop it. Okay, so here's the thing. Silver hit 50 plus this week. Okay, spot is higher. We have backwardation. Slam Crew's not the problem in derivatives. Backwardation is, and I believe BIS and IMF, we'll find out shortly who provided the funding for that, but it's not going to change anything. These people are just, they're just retarded. I'm sorry, I don't want to use that word, but it's just, expect 68 to 82 or higher by October 28th. XRP, XDC, WLFI, okay, it was engineered for cleansing. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, I don't care. The flash crash was a manipulation and shakeout, basically to put cheap money into the bankers' hands. Okay, do you have silver? Do you have gold? Supply shock is happening. Silver and gold slam will not stop parabolic moves. Okay, stop freaking out about this Friday move. It just took us off the quote unquote your overbought, oversold crap. Okay. Okay, market crash has started. Bulls and bears lose money. If you don't understand, crashes don't happen in a straight line. Plain and simple. And what are some of the panacea for that? Get educated. Stop listening to CNBC and Bloomberg, and stop spending time on the Twitter. Oh, you can spend time on my channel. Or join my group, $49 a month. Okay, you get the watch list. You guys are all seasoned traders. You need the watch list. You need my market commentaries. You need my pivot levels if you're a ES trader or SPY trader. I don't care if you're a day trader, right? And I put out charts, and then I put out my 2 cents throughout the day. I mean, that's, if you want higher level stuff, you need a lot of hand holding. We have those too. Okay, so follow me at Galaxy.market. Follow us. Okay, all of you members should be following me there. Like us and share us on YouTube, like I said, and comment, good and bad. I see some negative comments. That's fine. I love it. Okay, and subscribe. Okay, tell your friends. And if you want to work with me, find if there's some custom ways that you want to work with me, Coach Brandon at protonmail.com, or click on the link in the description below about our Essentials group, $49. A lot of people are joining, and they have done really well, and they like it. And I'm sure you'll like it too. All right. Okay. Enough of this. Watch this at least twice. Tell your friends, and like us, share us, obviously. And let's get some alpha. Bye-bye.